Welcome to test discussion of Gallant IAS Academy, test number 7, which includes international relations, science and technology, and internal security. The first question is about with the increasing militarization of space by global powers, how should India recalibrate its space policy to balance peaceful exploration and national security concerns? So the question is about the increasing militarization of space by global powers. So we can include the introduction, such as the evident establishment of entities like US Space Force, etc. And we need to. The second part is about how India should recalibrate its space policy. Okay, so we can include various measures strengthening space deterrence, creation of space command, dual use technology, international collab and norm building, indigenous capability development, etc. And in the second part, we can also include balance powerful peaceful exploration and national security concerns. So, what are the challenges such as strategic ambiguity, institutional fragmentation, technological limitations, budgetary constraints are the regulatory vacuum is present, and diplomatic dilemma, cybersecurity threat, and whenever we are writing the challenges we need to include some solutions also. We can include drafting a national space security doctrine, and we are also included the benefits of that policy also, and accelerating research and development in critical technologies, investment in a satellite constellations, hypersonics, deep space surveillance, etc., leading global space governance, etc. Public private strategic model also can be included as a solution, and we can conclude it by assertive in defending space assets we have to how the balanced approach should be. It should be peaceful, responsible space behavior should be the key term to be used here. So the second question is about India's engagement with Africa has grown through mechanisms. The question itself says the relation has grown through mechanisms like Voice of Global South Summit and India Africa Forum Summit. Evaluate the question keyword is about the evaluate how this partnership aligns with India's vision of South-South cooperation. So this is the question, and we can include the introduction about India-Africa relations, shared the anti-colonial struggles, South-South cooperation, etc. And in the body part we can include the growing engagement through key mechanisms. The key mechanisms are already given in the question itself, such as Voice of Global South Summit and India Africa Forum Summit. We can include some data also here, or any examples relevant to these mechanisms also, and how this alignment with the how these mechanisms align with the South-South cooperation vision also. That should be the second part to be addressed in the body, and it includes shared post-colonial solidarity, capacity building, and human resource support, and common global platforms such as UN, WTO, BRICS, etc. And since the question keyword is about evaluate, we need to include whether there are any challenges in India-Africa engagement, and it includes such as the Chinese dominance, implementation gaps, security and political risk, low private sector involvement, etc. So the next part should be obviously the solutions and way forward. Create India-Africa Infrastructure and Innovation Fund, enhancing triangular cooperation, strengthening cultural and educational ties, fast track project implementation, etc. are the measures to improve the South-South cooperation of India and Africa. The next question is about quantum key distribution. With the successful testing of India's quantum key distribution technology in 2024, how prepared is India to enter global quantum race? Discuss the applications and strategic implications. The question has almost three parts in the question itself. So we can include the introduction about the quantum key distribution. The definition for quantum key distribution or the concept is introduced here, and in the body part we can include the India's preparedness for quantum race. The trials and demonstration, national mission on quantum technologies, DRDO and ISRO involvement, startups and academic collaboration can be given as examples. Example for India's preparedness for quantum race. And the second part is about the applications and strategic implications. So we can include the applications of quantum key distribution, such as the cyber security, military and strategic communications, financial sector security, and examples of core banking network and swift messaging can be given here. Space-based communication, e-governance, telemedicine, quantum internet development, etc. can be given as the applications of quantum key distribution. And the final part is about the strategic implications of quantum key distribution, such as the national cybersecurity enhancement, defense and strategic communication, digital sovereignty, boost India's startups and researchers, financial and healthcare data security, etc. And the question is about the implications of in global context also. So we can include some points such as geopolitical realignment, global cyber security paradigm shift, quantum arms race, challenges in global standardization, space-based communication leadership, etc. This can be given as a words and also. The sixth question is about the drone technologies. Discuss the dual use nature of drone technologies in this context of India's growing reliance on drones in agriculture, disaster management, and defense. How can a balance between innovation and regulation can be achieved? So the question is about the dual nature of drone technologies. So we can include about the dual use of drone technology in the introduction itself, and we can include the in the body part we can include the growing reliance on drones in India in agricultural sector, disaster management, and defense sector. All these subparts are given in the question itself, so we need to address the parts efficiently in the body part also. So the second part of the body is to be about the measures to balance innovation and regulations. So we can include dynamic and inclusive policy framework, creation of drone sandbox ecosystems, and mandatory geofencing and real-time tracking, etc. All this can be given as a measures to balance innovations as well as the regulations of drone technologies. And we can conclude by giving a significance of drone technology in India's digital agriculture and defense transformation also. The seventh question is about Naxalism. Naxalism has seen a sharp territorial decline, yet the ideological base remains strong in some tribal areas. Examine the limitations of the state's development and security approach in countering left-wing extremism. So the question is about the left-wing extremism. So we can give any data related to the declining territorial spread of Naxalism, but the rising ideological base also. So we can include some facts in the introduction itself, and we can include the reasons for persisting ideological base despite the decline over the territories. So we can include historical alienation, inequitable development, governance vacuum, police atrocities and trust deficit, socioeconomic backwardness, identity assertion, etc. So, and the second part is ask us about the examine the limitations of state development and security approach in countering left-wing extremism. So we need to first address before addressing the limitations of state development and security approach, we need to include what are the states are doing to counter the left-wing extremism. So we can include some state initiatives such as security modernization, infrastructure push, aspirational district program for convergent development, socio-economic reintegration, and civic action program for trust building, etc. And in the later part, we need to explain about the limitations of development and security approach, militarized perception, administrative vacuum, development without participation, delayed justice mechanism, and resource exploitation, etc. So, and in the last part, we can also include some way forward measures also, such as the inclusive development, human security focus, community policing, digital outreach, and dialogue channels also. So the ninth question is about the integration of artificial intelligence and predictive policing tools in law enforcement. And the question asks about critically evaluate the ethical and constitutional implications of this in Indian context. So we can introduce about the integration of artificial intelligence. And in the body part, we can include the ethical implications, bias and discrimination, lack of transparency, consent and surveillance issues, data misuse, etc. These are the ethical implications associated with the integration of artificial intelligence. And in the second part, we can include the constitutional implications, which are the we can include some case laws and Supreme Court or the apex court verdicts also here. The right to privacy, due process of law, equality before law, freedom of expression. These are the constitutional implications. And in the last part, we can include some mitigation measures such as legal framework, human oversight, algorithmic audits, citizen awareness, etc. And in the concluding part, we can include the significance of AI for a better future.
Gallant IAS, chasing your passion to ace.